What's up, everybody? It's your girl Kiwan, and I am back with the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 14, reunion episode parts 1. So we're just gonna wrap this up in a nice little bow. First of all, I'm gonna say this: y'all got my auntie, my good rich auntie Garcelle. All right, we're gonna start there. Anyway, Sutton purchased a vibrator for Garcelle, I guess. This is why everybody was coming in, all right? Kyle looked like she got it on her mind to come after Garcelle and Sutton. The retails ended, nothing sticks, so she gonna let everybody know she ain't gonna leave talking about what she shoulda, woulda, coulda said. You know, Kyle walks in, Garcelle speaks. She's just she don't speak to her. Like, did I miss something? Whatever. Why does Kyle have first seat? And Kyle brought those stupid ass crystals. Okay. At this point, I can see on Garcelle's face that everybody just seemed fake AF. She feel away. She feel this energy, and it's gonna be a shit show. Okay. So we start with Dorit. Immediately, Bose is calling Dorit as the montage goes on. I guess, I get it. Andy tells Dorit the viewers love the cigarette scene. Dorit still hasn't told her kids about her and PK, which I think is stupid. But, you raise your kids how you want, and that is totally fine. So Andy asked, do you not tell the kids because you feel like there's going to be some hope between you and what's his name and PK? She was like, no, but she said she was in love with him, and she was just all mushy. But then we finna crack your face because PK declined, but he left this little message. All right. PK said, I was invited to be a part of the reunion, but declined because I don't believe engaging with Dorit in this forum would be constructive. Dorit has made several mischaracterizations about me, but the one I must address is the claim that I am a bad father. You are. Okay? That statement is both heartbreaking and false. It is deeply hurtful to me and, more importantly, to our children, who, despite Dorit's assertion, will inevitably see and hear all of this at a time not of our choosing. Those closest to us know the truth. Many have wanted to speak out, but I have asked them not to because the truth should never need a champion. I refuse to stoke a fire I did not ignite. The Dorit I married would never have allowed this, much less caused it. That woman embodied kindness, integrity, and grace. I can only hope this version of Dorit finds her way back to the person she once was. So basically, you just want to play in Dorit's face. You want to continue to play in her face, and you don't want her to say anything. That's the version you're looking for. Well, I'm sorry to tell you that version is gone. Christina's gone. So Andy says PK is saying there's a new version versus this old version of Dorit. Dorit is just like, I'm just not gonna let nobody railroad me. So Andy asked Kyle if Fame changed Dorit. She said she didn't recognize her. She said she became angry and aggressive. And again, the bottom line is you can't run over Dorit anymore, and that's why you really pissed off. So her and Kyle have this banter about their friendship and how she treated Dorit like her divorce wasn't going on, like she was diminishing Dorit's divorce, and she did. And it was just like she kept trying to play the victim. Like, Kyle, you was all the way wrong. It is what it is. So Andy asked how long PK been sober. Dorit said that's not a topic. Basically, she wanted to discuss. She not discussing the alcoholism. She not discussing any of that with Andy. I said, oh, Okay. So Andy asked Sutton about forensics account and what could happen. Sutton was like, "Well, I don't," and I feel like even in this moment, Sutton is trying to tread really light, even on her responses, because she don't want to piss them off. She was like, "Well, I'm worried about Dorit and all women." Sutton, be for real. Dorit gets combative, and she says basically Sutton doesn't have any compassion. So Sutton asked Dorit if your name is on the mortgage. Dorit said, "I ain't answering those questions." And then Dorit started talking about Sutton and her newfound compassion. And apparently, Dorit name ain't on the mortgage or the deed. Everything was all left up to PK to do. Girl, to the woman who divorced and get $300,000 a month, I mean, it seems beneficial to want to listen. Anyway, Dorit claimed her house isn't in foreclosure. Dorit relationship status with PK, they don't have much of a relationship at all. Then she said he only sees the kids on a Saturday night whenever he's in town, but you're not a bad dad. You're a terrible father. You're a horrible, horrible piece of shit parent. Anyway, Bose, we get to Bose package. Bose says she watched the show before coming on, so you low-key a fan is what you're saying. And not only are you low-key a fan, but you still decided to team up with Dorit. But I guess, in politics, the Fab 3 is better than being over here. I'm just saying. So we found out that Bose lost her Malibu house in a recent fire in California. Bose and Kelly is still kicking it live and well. She said people have mixed feelings about her and Kelly, saying that it is toxic. And well, it did. Optics is everything. She's still in the process of the eggs and the IVFs and all of the things to get pregnant at your big old age. Anyway, Bose says she tried to get, apparently, upon her coming on, you have watched the show, so you've seen how each of these ladies can be. But you go to Garcelle and you ask her about the ladies and how, talking about give me the tea. So you went to her in a way where you was trying to be messy. I feel like if Garcelle would have told you, you would have used that against her and you would have aired her out right here on this stage. I'm just telling you what my thoughts are. So you went to Garcelle trying to find out any tea on the ladies. Like, girl, what's tea? Garcelle said, I'm not telling you nothing. If you want to get to know the ladies, you get to know the ladies on your own. So for me, that is integrity. What do you do? Even if the people really don't fool with me like that, I'm still not going to talk to them. I'm not going to talk about them to you. So I wasn't mad at that. Bose said the ladies, and I guess in the after show or Watch What Happens Live, Bose said the ladies were jealous of her and Dorit's relationship. First of all, nobody's jealous, but we know how Dorit operate, especially with black people with her racist ace. We just saying. Garcelle says everyone have an issue with her, has always had an issue with Garcelle and Sutton's relationship. So Garcelle was like, roll the beautiful bean footage. They rolled it. Everybody had a problem. So to me, it felt like Andy was kind of low-key helping, making Garcelle look like the problematic one. But bottom line, Garcelle says she's happy that Dorit and Bose is in a friendship. Girl, we don't give a damn. Okay? Anyway, Bose says what rubbed me the wrong way is that y'all, Sutton and Garcelle, thought that she was being manipulated by Dorit. Bose said, if you would think that way of me, you really think low of yourself. And I was like, oh, woo, she got that one. So we get to Garcelle package. And we know Garcelle didn't have a storyline. But the problem I have with Erica is you're trying to pull out a storyline for her. Why? Because of what your husband did, and because everybody was asking you questions. Now you mad. So now all of a sudden you want to go to the lady who you feel like don't have a storyline, but you wouldn't pull out your own friend's storyline. You was treading lightly with them because and then you got tired of fighting with Sutton, I guess. I don't know. So she says that she wish Garcelle was more interesting. Says the woman who lived in the back of somebody's outhouse. But you got some nerve. You really got some nerve. I'm just trying to understand what's this energy for. I'm trying to understand what's this energy for. You and your friends, why y'all got this energy for this lady. Anyway, Kyle says to Garcelle, she asked her, well, what do you want from me? You want me to put out stuff about Morgan? Ma'am, you brought Morgan on the show. You wanted to be tight-lipped about it last season. You come on this season talking about Mauricio and some other woman. Man, we don't care about that. What the hell is going on? And you still haven't really talked about your divorce. You keep trying to be tight-lipped about your life. This is why your family comes on the show, because you don't want to talk about your life, because you want your life to be perfect. Girl, please. Girl, please. You have never really gone through the ringer. Let's be clear. So, Garcelle says Kyle. She says she was hurt by Garcelle. Girl, you. Garcelle says, well, if all of this is the case, why did you come to me off camera to talk about what you had going on in your life? You couldn't bring it on camera. This is a reality show. But you did the same kind of, low-key did the same thing to Dorit. Tried to talk to her off camera. Well, you text her about talking about certain things. You didn't want to talk about Morgan, but again, you wanted to put Mauricio out there, but only to a certain extent. You ain't slick. So Garcelle asked her, like, why did you have this why you want to have a conversation with me off camera? So Kyle said, because I thought you was my friend. Okay. So Garcelle asked Sutton, what did you say after Kyle walked off? Sutton said, I think Kyle wants to protect Morgan. When I tell y'all, if looks can smack the piss out of somebody, she would have smacked the piss out of Sutton right there. Because Garcelle turned to Sutton and said, that's not what you said. What you said was, that was a chess move. I said, wow. So Kyle says to Garcelle and Sutton that they both are mean girls. Both of them together are mean girls. Ma'am, says you. And first of all, I was like, I know you lying. Because ain't you the Regina George of the Mean Girls? So this is what this is. You're Regina George, Erica is Gretchen, Bose is Katie, and that ditzy one, that's Dorit. I'm just saying, you did it to your own friend LVP. Yep, you did it to her. You did it to your own sisters. Let's be clear. Anyway, I'm just gonna say this: Sutton backpedaled and coochie popped this entire first reunion. Kyle plays the victim again, and Dorit decides to pop up and say, that's why I decided to gravitate towards Bose, because she's real. No, it low-key feel like you gravitated towards the other black woman because you didn't want nobody to see your true real self, how you operated with this other black woman, because you've been pulling the fool. So let me gravitate over here to this black woman so people won't think who I'm, my true self. Okay? So Dorit is mad about the break-in when Garcelle said, I don't think Dorit had anything to do with it, but I think somebody did. And she feels like that it was a setup. Dorit, you can say whatever you want, and she didn't say you. Again, let's roll it. And that's what production did. But when I tell you production had Garcelle back on the cool, okay? Shout out to production, okay? Because you trying to make this, like, y'all really up in here really trying to got this lady in here windmilling. I'm sorry, y'all. Whew, I was coughing. Y'all really have this lady up in here windmilling for her life. But that's just the way it goes. Reunion, it's gonna go like that sometimes. You may not have a good season, and she may have skeeted her way through these seasons, but this reunion wasn't Garcelle's, okay? And I'm admit that. And once again, when it comes to that robbery, we all felt like something was fishy about that. And you mad because she's the only one that actually said it out loud. Everybody else not gonna say it out loud. So Garcelle said, girl, I'm sorry if it hurt your feelings, girl, whatever. Dorit, meanwhile, Dorit, at this point, she still want to argue with Garcelle. And Garcelle was like, okay. Like, at this point, Garcelle checked out and was like, okay. And then she started to talk about, you know, how it affects your husband, girl. Your husband, because your husband don't even like you. He don't even like you. So everybody break. I mean, well, this is where we break. This is where it get ready to end. Everybody go to their respective places. Sutton goes to check on Garcelle. And she sits there. Now, the way Garcelle looked at Sutton, she was not pleased. She was not pleased about this reunion because she already said, so I'm the target. You know, everybody want to target me. Everybody won't come for me. Okay? So she goes in the room, sits down. Sutton came in. And she was talking to Garcelle. Garcelle was like, listen, I'm not all right. And Garcelle said, I'm not tiptoeing around no mother body. Okay? She goes on to say that Erica, because I'm not interesting, because I'm my ex, or I'm not in no criminal activity. I'm not interested. Baby, because I'm broke. I'm self-made. I'm not interested. Like, I don't live in the back of a she shed, but I'm not interested. Baby, when I tell you she was hot, my girl was hot as fish grease. But, you know, she was the bone carrier for the season. But I guess everybody decided we gonna have a little meet and greet over here that she wasn't invited to, and we gonna come together. And Sutton just checked out on her, as always. Anyway, Bose goes into the room. You can't say that without repercussions. What repercussions? She said you can't say it without repercussions or without proof. All she said was, this is my opinion. I think it was staged. I don't think Dorit had anything to do with it, but I think someone did. Now, did she imply PK? Probably. But if the what did they say? If it don't apply, let it fly. But then I remember because PK went on social media talking about Garcelle. And if you ain't have nothing to do with it, like you said, in your statement to your wife Dorit, you never have to champion the truth. Just saying. So this was pretty good. They have aggravated me, but we see where this was going. We seen where this was going in the beginning. We knew something. So this is why we find out Garcelle has exit stage left. Like, your piece is everything. Take your piece. Anyway, I forgot to say, please make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell button so you can be updated on every video that I drop. And please make sure you are liking all the videos. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. And until next time, bye.